This is Wendy, Alane, Wright. This is the Hollywood Winner's Circle and TMFA. We are going to give you this video, which is going to be a really special treat for you guys today. I am talking to life coach Sarah Michelle. And if you've never had a life coach, this is an opportunity for you to figure out and learn what life coaches are, especially what this life coach does. Life coaches can be very different. Sarah, can you wave and say hello? How are you?
Hi.
Hi. I want to tell you
Hi.
that I'm great. I'm glad that you're here. I want to tell you that I met Sarah because Jonathan introduced me to you.
Yes.
And I started coaching with her as a life coach. And what results I've been having, Sarah. It's been freaking blowing my mind.
I'm so excited.
The blocks that have been lifted from me, the new behaviors that have come into place without even me thinking about it, because we're rewiring my subconscious. And from everything I've learned over all the years, you know, whatever you believe in your subconscious is what's driving your life. And
Exactly.
if you don't get clear about your subconscious, then whatever you've programmed in there over the years, that's what's driving your life. And that's making you make choices and making you react certain ways. So Jonathan told me about you and said he was having massive changes in his life because of you. And I'm like, who is this person? I got to investigate this. And then I research you and find out you're like this top life coach. And I'm going to work with her too. And I've been working with you now for a while. And you and I have had some major shifts. Major shifts that at 54 years old, some things that were plaguing me my whole life that I have never been able to get rid of, that you have gotten rid of in me. And that's
that makes me so
amazing.
happy. Yeah, I mean, I think obviously there's the tangible results, but I think overall, like what I see in you is just like this like lifted veil that you didn't really know you had. I didn't know you had. Obviously we're on this journey together. So as things kind of start, unraveling, then it's like, this is what's more of the authentic Wendy. This is what's more of the, higher self and, like the more divine Wendy version of Wendy. And so your energy is just so much lighter. You're like, you're less resistant. You're just in receiving mode. And so, so much more than you were before. So that's good.
I think it's a good idea to listen. I've worked with Tony Robbins over the years. I've had different kinds of coaches. I've done the forum. I've done lots of different things, and I've always believed that you have got to let other people help you grow. Let other people help you expand. As I've said before, I've done the Insight seminars numerous times. I've been in the program for a long time, so we uncover a lot of stuff, and we call it uncover, discover, discard. And so for years I've been uncovering stuff, discovering it, and discarding it, and just creating a better version of myself every day. But I don't believe that we do that work the best by ourselves.
Right.
So I've always reached out for help to grow and to learn, and I've done tapping, I've done therapy, I've done Tony Robbins stuff, and I just love who I am, and I love who I'm becoming even more with you. So I thought it was a good idea to bring you into the TMFA. First of all, she's a moderator here at TMFA.
Yes, I am.
It's very important that as an actor, you probably have all kinds of self-talk going on. And for a lot of you watching on TMFA, sometimes that self-talk can get really negative. And it can block you from your highest potential. It can block you from achieving the results that you want. It can keep you in fear in your auditions. It can keep you feeling in lack in life, lack of auditions, lack of abundance. So your mindset is critical. And Sarah is a master of changing your mindset. And I believe that actors need to change their mindset if they want to really live and survive in this business, and if they want to have the great results that they're dreaming of. So that's why I thought it would be really helpful, Sarah, for you to be here in the TMFA to talk about what a life coach does, what a mindset coach does, and to let all of you guys know that she's here, that she's a mindset coach right here in the TMFA, available every day. Every day.
It was important to me when you asked me. First off, I felt very honored. But when you asked me, it was important to me that the people in the group knew that they had this resource and that they knew that I was, not like behind the scenes, I'm there at your disposal type thing. If you have any questions and going along with Wendy's guidelines, her group guidelines, you're more than welcome to tag me in a question or something like that. That way I can be notified and I can kind of go right to your question rather than sifting through the Facebook group. So.
Oh, that's really cool. Well, thank you for offering that to people. I really, really appreciate that. And would you agree that mindset is like the key to success in life and relationships and business and career?
100%. In fact, I feel like it's the thing that's preventing you from it. People are like, oh, what's the thing? What's the magic potion? It's not about a magic potion. You yourself, just if you strip away everything else, you are the magic potion. You are the thing that you can get anything that you ever dreamed of or everything that you want. But we have the gunk, I guess you can call it. We have the things that kind of prevent our magic from fully shining through. Most of those things is your self-talk and your limiting beliefs. And because our subconscious is the control center, 95% of our minds is our subconscious. So it's the control center to everything that we create in our lives, not just your, autonomic system, which is the fact that I'm just shaking my head right now. That's happening automatically. I'm not even thinking about it. So can you even imagine what it would be like if your subconscious thoughts that are serving you were just working in your favor the way I'm moving my hands naturally right now?
Oh, wow.
It's like
automatically.
Automatically. And it's just kind of crazy to think about it like that, and that we even have that possibility. I mean, that's even a gift that's been given to us. It's just most people haven't tapped into it. And this type of work, life coaching, is definitely a newer thing for sure. But I think this type of work is probably one of the more woke work that's kind of happening right now, that most people that hear what I do or hear that I'm a life coach, I'd say, maybe 40% don't know what a life coach is still, which is very interesting. And I've been doing this for 6 years. Well, in general, in my definition of a life coach, there is so many different life coaches, and you have to find the right fit that's for you. So if it's a business coach, or if it's a career coach, or whatever that is, definitely seek that out. But my coaching specifically is subconscious mind coaching. It's just kind of a mouthful. So when people introduce me, they usually just say life coach or mindset coach. But if I'm being more specific about what I do, it's that I coach you on your subconscious.
Subconscious mind coaching.
Yes. Yeah.
When you and I do our sessions,
mm-hmm.
you and I talk through things that are going on in my life, have gone on in my past, have gone on in
mm-hmm.
my childhood, have gone on and stuff. And that
mm-hmm.
brings up different elements of all kinds of stuff, really.
Right.
And,
right.
And then we find out, wow, there's a whole thought process going on in there that I wasn't even aware of.
Right.
And it's been there since, like, we did that exercise about the school bus. Remember what was happening
right.
the bus when I was a kid? And
right.
all of those beliefs that I brought up, oh my God, that I made about the world and the universe, and
right.
just from something when I was 9, 11, 12 years old.
Right. Well, what's interesting about that, and you'll know this, that a lot of my coaching is when the client says, hey, I'm dealing with A, and I'm listening and I'm like, it's actually not A. Like, it's actually B. You just don't know what that is. It's masking itself as this, that's actually fear, or that's actually insecurity, or, because our conscious minds, we can only think about filling in the blanks of, let's say we're feeling insecure, our subconscious minds will fill in certain things that either make us act insecure, or we have thoughts of insecurity. And I'm going in and I'm actually hearing what you're going through. I read between the lines. I'm actually hearing what you're saying, even though you consciously are telling me something. I'm hearing subconsciously what you're actually telling me.
I know, and it's amazing. The things you see that I just didn't even know. So I want to how did you get started in life coaching? Like, how did that even begin for you?
Yeah, so I feel like life coaching was always in the cards for me. When I was in middle school, I had a teammate. I was a competitive gymnast for 10 years, and I had a teammate who just randomly said, hey, I was on my way back, like literally she just kind of pulled my arm, was like, hey, Sarah. And I'm like, huh? And she was like, when you grow up, you're either going to be a lawyer or a life coach. And I'm like, okay, like, you're being weird. I was 13, like, leave me alone, you know, and I'm ready to take my next turn. And I really didn't think much about that, except for that was in 2003. Like, life coaching was so not really a thing back then. And I always look back on that and go, that was the universe that was like, hey, Sarah, guess what? You know, kind of just like giving me a little whisper.
Yeah.
And then as I go older and you went through college and things like that, I thought I wanted to be a therapist. And so I went through, all of my schooling was with getting my MFT in mind, which is marriage and family therapy. And so I did all of my studies and my work experience with that in mind. And then I had applied to grad school, and it was just like every time I applied, the universe was like, nope, nope, nope. Like, I applied 3 times, and you have to apply once a year. And there was just always something. And it was something you and I were actually talking about the other day, about how you can try to control everything if you want to, but if it's not meant to be for you, it's gonna find loopholes. And so I was like, okay, I missed that date. Not like writing that in red letters on my calendar for next year, right? Didn't miss the date, got it in, fine, everything's great, everything's great. Then the last draw for me was that they're like, okay, great, you got in, we need you to have an in-person interview. And I'm like, okay, great, can I do that over Skype? Because I'm in Spain. Like, and they're like, no, you need to be in person. And I'm like, flipping table, like, I'm done. I'm like, I'm over it. Like, and it was that moment where I just relinquished, I think, all of this resistance of I wanted this. This was my plan. This is what I needed to do. And the universe was like, no, we have such a greater plan for you. And so it was in that moment that I was like, all right, I'm taking a year off, like, screw grad school. And literally 2 weeks later, I got a call from someone, a coworker at the time, who was like, hey, I'm getting my coaching certification and I need 20 dummies, basically, you know, I have to coach like 20 dummies. Can you be one of my dummies? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I've always been into personal development. I'm like, yeah, sure. Great. We're in the middle of the session and she's like, okay, Sarah, I'm sorry. I have to stop you for a second. I just keep feeling like you need to do this. You need to be a life coach. Oh, wow. And it actually wasn't until that moment that I kind of paused on the phone and I was like, wait a minute. I've heard that before. I heard that before with my college roommate who would refer to me as her life coach, which I don't know where she got that from. And then I also, you know, when I was in middle school, so it was that moment where I was like, okay. And I didn't have my own plan in my way. So when we're talking about getting in our own way, you know, I had my blinders on about, I'm going to be a therapist. This is what I want to do. And I couldn't see it. I couldn't see any other possibility until I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let this go. I'm going to let go of the outcome. And then like the most amazing opportunity came into my life. Anyways, long story short, got certified and decided in 2018 I was going to really go for this in terms of building my own business. And it's just like my little baby love. Like, I just love it.
And now you have all these clients and now that's what you do. And you're so good at it. I mean, I've worked with a lot of different coaches over the years, but I've never had the breakthroughs I've had with you. I mean, it's amazing. So I just love that. And it's kind of like the universe has always been kind of telling you, here's your purpose. Here's what you're going to be doing, but we can resist it forever. Mm-hmm. I love how it just kept saying, no, you're going to be a life coach. No, you're going to be a life coach. So you believe heavily in the law of attraction.
Yes.
What for those people here who don't know what the law of attraction is, can you explain what that is?
Yeah, sure. Especially because law of attraction is kind of the foundation of my coaching. So the law of attraction is, there's 12 laws of the universe, and one of them is gravity. And I always mention that because everyone knows what gravity is. But there's 11 other ones, and another one of those is the law of attraction, which states that what you focus on expands. It states that what you give out, you give back. So basically, when you're giving, whatever you're giving vibrationally, so if you're putting out negativity or you're not feeling good, or if you're putting about anxiety, I always find anxiety is such a quick manifester, because that anxiety that you give out creates more situations for anxiety, and then you just end up snowballing into this ball of anxiety until you don't know what's happening. And then you're prescribed anxious and need to get pills, now you're prescribed depression, and it's like, whoa, like our thoughts really went there and created this, this place that we didn't even want to go. So the law of attraction really is a unbiased tool, I almost would call it, where they don't really care what you're putting out. It's just when you're going to throw that boomerang, whichever boomerang you're deciding to throw, that same boomerang is going to come back to you. So if you don't want that boomerang, then don't put it out.
Wow. The law of attraction is happening at all times, whether you're aware of it or not.
Yeah.
There's a lot of books on the law of attraction. And if you haven't read any of those books, get some books and start reading about the law of attraction, because I know Oprah talks about the law of attraction a lot. She's very deep in law of attraction like you are. And I've said this before. In fact, Oprah brought me on her show once to talk about the law of attraction. And it was because the power of manifestation in my life has always been so immediate. And the story that I shared on Oprah with her that day was, well, I mean, we talked about a couple things, but one of the ways that the law of attraction works for me is I've said this story before. My daughter, I needed a dollhouse for her because we were playing with these dolls, and I went, okay, I have to go get it. I know what I need. I need a pink dollhouse with 2 floors, and this is what it's going to be, as an elevator and whatever. I'm going to go out there and go get it now. I know it's there. And I was going to go to Goodwill. Goodwill, you can't plan that there's going to be a dollhouse there. It's not like Target.
Right. It's not like you window shopped and you know that it's there. And
exactly.
You're
going can't like go online and go into the store to the dollhouse department and you're going to get a dollhouse. It's just that whenever I really needed something really quick, and I would just say, I'll get it at Goodwill because it's a couple blocks away. Then I would just go in and get it and be right freaking there. But this time I didn't even get to Goodwill. I got in my car. I backed up. I looked to the left before I pulled out the street, and there was a dollhouse right on the curb that my neighbor next door put out there because his daughter outgrew it. And it was pink with a freaking elevator for Barbies. I'm like, of course it is. I pull back into my driveway, get out of the car and go pick it up and bring it in the house and wash it off.
I love that story.
That's how quick, but it's because the intention was it exists. I'm just going to go get it. It's not a question.
Right.
Does this thing exist for me? And it's kind of like you are with the parking,
Yeah. I have this weird automatic thing that happens where I get parking no matter where I go, in full parking lots, especially full parking lots. This isn't me going into, a pretty vacant parking lot. This is especially in LA, there's packed parking everywhere, and I will always find the one parking spot that either someone's about pulling away right then, or I just find it every time. I told you I should start documenting it.
Was that a bakery or something you pulled in front of, and like the parking space?
It was like an Amazon return center. And I was like, okay. And I was seeing on my right side, and there was car. And I started, the moment that I thought, well, maybe I'll make a left. But do you see how maybe I'll make a left is the response with letting go of the outcome, right? It has this vibe and this vibration of everything's fine. Everything's working out for me, right? Instead of shit, like this always happens. I never find parking. That's a lot of people's, habits of thought is like, oh, I'm going to be late for work. And I was on my way to work, and I didn't really factor in parking because I always get it. So I was like, maybe I'll just make a left. And the moment I said, maybe I'll make a left, I looked, and the very last car, which, when you're super far back, you can't see what parking spots available. So the very, right in front of the last car, there's a parking spot available that happens to be in front of the store.
Of course it does.
I pulled in, backed up, cracked up, was like, God, tell Wendy this.
I remember when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, or whatever years I used to have a job, used to work a job. Whenever I would go on an interview, I always had the job.
Yeah. Yes.
I was going in to get my job. I wasn't going in to interview with them about whether I was going to have that job. I was going in to get my job. And I got hired at every job, at every interview I ever went on, the very first conversation, because I didn't have another intention.
Right.
I didn't
you didn't introduce doubt. You didn't introduce a conflicting thought or emotion with it. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same with, it's like, that's so timely. I was listening to someone today, I'm not even sure where I heard it, but they were talking about don't expect no's. Like, I don't know what acting podcast or something I was listening to. No, I was in a clubhouse room, right, on my drive from San Diego to LA. They were just talking about this. Oh my God. So she goes, you know how in sales they say expect 1,000 no's for every yes? She said, and that's such a myth. She goes, I never expect a no. I never plan on a no. I shoot for the yes every single time. Yeah. And I thought about the difference between James Ciccone's coaching, which is his coaching is called show up to book the role. Like he's not leaving there another option available. It's like, I'm showing up to book the role. I'm going in to get the role. I'm not going in to make a fan, even though, you might. I'm not going in to make a fan. I'm not going in to get 10 auditions and maybe I book one. I'm going in to get that role, period. Right. And he shows up with that full intention and he books almost all of his auditions. I heard this, and I don't remember. I think it was Abraham. It was an Abraham Hicks audio. And there was actually an actor who came up to say, I've been in the industry for 20 years and I have never booked a legit role. Should I give up on this, type thing? And she was like, you ever wonder why the people who already book roles get more roles and are the lead in all of these? She's like, because they believe that they're going to be the role. They believe because there's evidence that they have gotten the role. So then therefore it's easier to have it. Now, here's the magic. You need to have that same mentality, that same energy, attitude when you don't have the evidence of it yet. So for the people who haven't booked that role yet, that's going to be your biggest crossroad in terms of you getting in the way of you, right? Because at the end of the day, you're going in with kind of like a maybe you will, maybe I don't, or maybe I won't type of vibration. It kind of introduces, like you said, another option. But if you go into this audition and go, I'm going to get, this is my role. I recently read Matthew McConaughey's book. Really good. If you guys haven't read that one. But he was saying that every time he reads, a character and decides if he wants to go for this audition, he becomes this character. He tries to think, how does this character smell? And how does this character act? And what is going on in their minds right now? And then he starts for the next, week or something before the audition, he starts saying, what is my guy going to do? He starts referring as what's my guy? And you can see how he's not just an actor that gets roles. He's an actor who brings the role to the story. And I think that's been my biggest, when I was reading that, wow, he has his mind right. I mean, in terms of this topic, he has his mind straight. And this was before, I think his first movie was Dazed and Confused. He hadn't been on a movie yet. They didn't even have that as a verbal, any lines. They didn't have that role as anybody who said any lines. He was supposed to be a background, and somebody was giving him doing him a favor by being you can be in the background of the movie. And then he kind of came in and was a little bit ballsy, but I think ballsy in a confident way of I know that I know that I know. Yeah. I can add to the scene. Yeah. And he came in and he blew the director away to where the director's okay, well, what would, I think his character's name was Wooderson or something. And he was well, what would Wooderson do? And that's when he says automatically, he'd come in in his car and he'd go, hey ladies, all right, all right, all right. And it's this, this famous line. And so I think about that often. I mean, now that every time I just proceed my life with this knowledge, which has been really mind blowing, that I look at people as walking subconscious minds. And I'm
wow, how fascinating, like how his mind is made up and what can we learn from that? And
A
kind
made
of,
up mind.
yeah.
Saying about, if you just think in terms of logic, which position makes you more powerful? The logic that goes in the audition room and says, I hope they like me. Maybe I'm right for the role. I mean, I hope that that is a weakened state of mind, as opposed to, this is my role. I'm going in to get it. And even if you don't get it, at least you're going in with the energy that it is yours. And that energy is a much higher vibration, which puts you in a much more likely category to book it anyway. Then I wonder if this is going to be, if they even like me. Am I doing this right? I hope they like me now. Is this what they're looking for? Am I what they're looking for? Am I good enough? That's such a negative way of thinking that brings your energy into it's not an attractive energy. It doesn't bring people to you. It repels. So even if every time you go in the audition, you don't book it, your chances of booking it go way, way up if you go in there with the confidence of acting like it's your role. And interestingly, on my Instagram, I was talking to casting director Joey Paul Jensen, and she said, which is exactly what we're talking about, is that while you are auditioning, it is your role. It is your role. You are the character. And at that moment, you're the character for everybody in the room. And unless they change their mind, you have the role. Because at that moment you're auditioning, you have the role. It's yours. Yeah. Now, if they decide to change your mind and go off of you, then it's not yours anymore. But for that period, it's yours. So act like
it's treat it as such. Right.
Treat it as yours. Act like it's yours. Own it, be it, and not come from I wonder if it's good enough, but this is mine. I claim it. And if you claim that in your heart, that's what activates the power of intention.
Yeah.
And a law of attraction. So do you guys have any questions for what's going on? Are you listening? And what are you thinking? Any thoughts? Anybody want to be a guinea pig?
You guys can unmute yourselves.
Yeah, I like it. I love it, Wendy. Thank you. Sarah, thank you for being here. And congratulations on you figuring out what you want to do and being successful at it, obviously. But Wendy, thank you for bringing her. But no, self-doubt is the only thing that, I can relate. And I appreciate everything. Yeah, I can relate.
What happened to your eye? Did you get a fight?
It can be dangerous on the subway late night. Yes, Wendy. My dumb ass. Yes, ma'am.
You better be careful.
I swear I will. I got to tighten up.
He's going for a role. He's becoming the role.
Yeah. No, I can be that guy. Oh, Lord.
You don't know if you're going to get an audition where the person's like, you need to have a black eye. And you're like, well, this is perfect.
No, I was like, I won't be on Actors Access for the next 2 weeks. I know that. So
unless you shoot a scene as a boxer and you already got the black eye and you're ready to go, or you shoot the scene as a whatever.
Yes, but no, I love the information you just said. And Wendy, it's funny because you know exactly what certain people are missing. And this is probably the only thing that I'm missing, to be honest with you, certain aspects that you guys are discussing. And I'm really the only thing in my way. And it's really pissed me off in the past. So I'm just trying to get those kinks out because I know there's potential. I'm just a few things that I've got to get straight, but they are affecting everything in not a good way sometimes. So
it's a really good point. Yeah, I think that there's areas of your life that, and even Wendy can relate to this. She had came to me with her goal, and I said, that's not what we're gonna go for. That's gonna be a byproduct of the work that we're doing. But you're already going to get that goal. That's already yours. I'm not worried about that. We're not going to see how you can attain that goal, right? Like, this really comes down to what is happening in your subconscious and in your life that's preventing you from already having your birthright, right? From having that thing that you already have. And so it does affect all areas of your life. And I do preface that when I take on a new client, I will say, you may seek me out for a specific area of your life, let's say your career, but I end up actually coaching you on a different area of your life because that's the thing in that part of your life that has affected the area you're getting coaching on.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Like I said, it's derived from something that you don't even know because you're just not aware. We don't have the knowledge. We're not looking, we're when you're on the outside looking in and you know what the hell you're talking about, it can be very useful because it all stems from something. So thank you so much because
You're welcome.
I will think about this tonight and tomorrow and the day after. So thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, your subconscious is powerful because you're not aware of it, which can be really scary at times. But also, like when you really grasp it, you feel like you have a real life superpower.
No, well, because when I do feel in control, I feel very wonderful. But when it's not the other way, I'm just in the driver. I'm sorry, I'm in the passenger seat with the maniac. So.
Yeah. First one is exactly what Ryan was saying, that you feel like the car is driving, but you're not driving it. It's driving you. And it reminds me of this part in I think it's Transformers 1, where he like gets into the VW bug and the VW bug just starts driving and he's like trying to brake and he's trying to turn and like it's the car's like, nope, I'm going this way. And like, that's how I think we oftentimes feel, that it's like, whoa, it's like, that's where we get to be in our victim mentality because it's happening to me. It makes us believe that it's happening to me, that I'm not in control of my life. And then we become a victim to our lives. But that's the most disempowering way of looking at it.
Yes.
Kylie, did you want to ask a question?
Yes. Yes. Okay. So I am trying to figure out, I guess, the difference between a life coach and a therapist. Because right now, at this particular point, just from knowing what I know right now, I feel like I should have met you like two years of prescription Zoloft ago. Yeah. So I'm trying not to be pissed off. So can you please tell me what is the difference between a therapist and a life coach?
Sure. And I'm going to preface this by saying that I do not hate on therapy at all. I think there is room and space for therapists in this world for sure. And God bless them, and I have my own therapist. I have my own life coach and I have my own therapist. And this is what I have, I guess, figured out. A therapist to me is somebody who holds a space for you. That doesn't mean a coach doesn't hold a space for you, but a therapist is okay with you, spending 45 minutes to an hour, however long the session is, you kind of wallowing in what's going on with you, right? And then the therapist goes like, okay, we'll pick up, where we left off next week, type thing. A coach, I think, is a little bit more assertive. Again, I'm not saying that therapists aren't assertive. I'm not saying that there aren't assertive therapists, but I think that the word coach is what I really highlight in that when you think about any type of sports coach that you've ever had and the way that they approach it, that's really what, to me, coaching is. It's somebody who keeps you accountable. It's somebody who sees the best in you before you see the best in you. It's somebody who is like, hey, what do you want? I'm going to do everything I possibly can to get you there, to get you there. I think there might be a little bit more assertiveness, pursuancy, momentum with coaching, especially because coaching is more results based. It's more, we can't promise that you're going to get the results because again, it's your decision whether or not you're going to get your results because you're the one that's in your own way, and no coach can do that for you, but they can present those tools for you. They can present their own unique space for you to do those things. And so for me, it's really important in my sessions that not only do I hold space, and I do hold space, but that I also know where I'm going, where I'm like, okay, because especially when we're going through a hard time, it's really hard for us to make that decision for ourselves, And so for me, a coach is somebody who goes, okay, I see you're struggling with this, blah, blah, blah. I really hear this. I hear you and stuff. This is what we're going to do. Here's your homework. Here's your exercise. Here's the thing that I want you to get out of your comfort zone or whatever that is. And it's tailored to you specifically. So I feel like there's a lot more action based with coaching as well,
as opposed to passive listening.
as opposed to passive listening. Again,
So
that
a lot
sounds
of
really bad.
celebrities have a lot of stars. Sorry, Sarah. A lot of stars have coaches. A lot of people in the world. You have to. This is crazy. This life.
Yeah.
Life is crazy. We're dealing with all kinds of stuff. The death of parents, the death of friends and families, our own aging, our own mortality, dealing with the breakup, the loss of children, our friends, issues, career, finances. This is not something you can handle on your own life. It's too tough. So having a therapist, I think, and especially when you're a celebrity, you have all that pressure to perform, pressure to be great, pressure to be perfect, pressure to carry a $5 million movie, a $10 million movie, pressure not to screw up, the pressure gets so immense. That's what people don't understand of people who become very famous celebrities. They all want to be a celebrity. The pressure that goes along with that is insane. People kill themselves under that pressure. So I think having a therapist, first of all, used to have a stigma attached to it. I think that is long gone because that's just nonsense. And then having a life coach who guides you is kind of like, I think, for me, my little opinion, that life coaching is kind of someone who kind of guides the ship a little bit in the direction that you want to go.
Yes. Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, because sometimes I feel like therapy is just small talk. I'm not real good at small talk. So, it's got to have purpose. I got to be going somewhere. I don't particularly feel great about just hearing my voice. I need some actions. I need some things done, an outcome.
What's different about Sarah is that for me, because I've been in therapy, I've been in programs, I've been in life-changing, life-altering systems that change your life and that change your thinking and stuff, is that I will come to Sarah and say, this happened in my life and it really hurt me. And then she'll listen to me explain about whatever that is. And I basically just say what I feel and think and what's coming up. And then at the end of that, she's going to say, okay, now we're going to release the energy around that. We're going to release the energy around that because you've got so much energy around that you're attracting more of it and you're creating more of it. And you got to release that energy. So then we do these release exercises and then the energy goes away from it. This has been a great conversation talking to Sarah. We're going to give you all of the information of how to reach her in the chat below. Thank you for being here, Sarah.
That sounds good. Thanks for having me. I'm at your disposal. So
Thank
just
you so
tag me in
much.
the group.
Yay!
Yay!